We're starting to see some things pop here in the last several hours. That's right, some of our favorites are starting to move, and I've got news to share with you. What about the Democrats throwing a little bit of Gensler era action into the crypto bill? Is this going to derail things? We're going to go back to the starting point. Hodgkinson confirms XRP support coming to the Lace wallet. Does this mean Cardano, Ripple working together? We'll talk price action along with CPI data and
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
happy Tuesday, and there's lots going on. Look at ETH making a move along with HBAR as well. Crypto fans, what are you thinking this morning? We're going to get some juicy action. Bitcoin led that pump, but before we get into the news, you know the deal. Your comments come first. Why? Because you are the viewer, and you, of course, matter most. Lead by example says, lol, love your report, and you have my support. Love the rhymes right there. That's right, I bring you the news whether it's good, bad, happy, or sad. Veg Out says, I watch your channel because it's hilarious, and I find it informative while I laugh. Well, that's the point. If we just brought you the crypto news without the humor, it could be a little dry. Ooh, do I have any silver stackers in the house? Let's hear it in that comment section down below. It says, Save Yourself says, and Save Yourselves, isn't that Liberate Te? A little bit of Latin there. Silver will be $50 by December, just my guess. Ooh, silver fans, let me know what you think. Bitcoin's in at 109,216. ETH is deep in the green at 2738. H-bars, some of the memes starting to move. Things are starting to kind of look a little bit of juicy. XRP 2029, we'll talk price action at the end. Ooh, CPI report to be released on Wednesday. That's right, we're going to be covering it with the live stream. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. Subscribe button, of course. Look, CPI data, I don't expect it to move the markets, but if we get a juicy one, I mean a low one, like a 2.0, 2.1, that is definitely going to put more pressure on Jerome Powell to what? Cut rates. But first, what do we got? A little bit of Eleanor Tourette news. This is what she said. Leader John Thune has filed cloture on both bipartisan amendment to the Genius Act and the full bill. Votes on cloture will occur this week. Again, these votes need 60 votes to move to final passage. So again, you got to move to vote to cloture to then get it to go to the final debate, to final vote. Oh my gosh, Senate, what the hell? Yeah, this is in the Senate. Now look, this is happening in the House. This is a problem, okay? And this is talking about the Gensler era approach, all right? Listen to this. New. Ahead of today's Clarity Act markup, and this is happening today, all right? Financial Committee and House Act GOP, some industry players I've been speaking to are raising concerns over a new section in the amended text that they're describing as a Gensler era provision. This change would eliminate exemptions for previously issued tokens instead of giving the SEC sweeping authority to determine on a case-by-case basis whether each token qualifies as a security. Basically giving more power to the SEC to determine what's a security and what's a commodity. That's not what we want because that's what Gensler was doing. Critics say this approach reintroduces uncertainty the bill is meant to resolve. Oh my gosh. So we may have a bigger mess on our hands with the House bill, and that's the bill that would regulate the rest of this crypto market, the one that we all hang out in. At least 61 firms from a budget hotel chain to Trump Media, along with Sailor, Metaplanet, and others, medical companies too, are starting their BTC treasuries. I'm sharing this because it's a growing trend. And you notice there's not the same support for the altcoins out there. That kind of bothers me a little bit. And what happens when BTC gets priced out? I mean, BTC at 109,000 is kind of expensive, right? I mean, I get it. These players out there, they're betting on the fact that the dollar is probably either going to collapse or that inflation is just going to erode the buying power of the dollar. Well, that's all good and well, but look at the price of BTC. Is there that much upside left? It's one of crypto's hottest trends. Publicly traded companies buying Bitcoin and then buying even more. The companies buy Bitcoin for different reasons. Some hold it as a hedge against inflation to signal support for cryptocurrency, while other firms are using it as debt and stock sales, right? Where they're converting future debt and stock sales. The world at large has no idea what's happening, and they're in for a big shock. Dylan LeClaire, executive at Japan-based Metaplanet, they said this is a one-way train. Nothing is going to stop this. And that's the other problem, too. You got a lot of people betting against their own economy. So it's not just the U.S. dollar. You got Japanese companies getting into this, Canadian companies, Eurozone companies. So a lot of players out there are losing faith in their governments. And so in order to hedge against that, what are they doing? They're buying BTC. Now, do you think your government is going to collapse financially? I mean, honestly, comment down below, share it. And what do you use to hedge against that. Hodgkinson just confirmed XRP is coming to Cardano ADA's Lace wallet. There's this whole thing where they're talking about, oh, we're partnering with Cardano and Ripple, and I think that's overblown because, I mean, all right, XRP support to Lace wallet, is that really juicy? While no specific launch date has been set, developers at IOG are actively working on integrating XRP support. Lace's roadmap, first ADA assets, then BCC, now XRP signals a deliberate phase expansion towards becoming a true multi-chain wallet. XRP's arrival on Cardano's Lace wallet is no longer speculative. It heralds a new era of collaboration between Cardano and Ripple. I mean, is that really a collaboration between Cardano and Ripple, or is this them just integrating support for another crypto on their wallet? I think some of these stories are a bit overblown, and I think, honestly, Charles is a lot behind this overblownness. Remember, he was also the one that said, yo, I'm going to be working in D.C. with all these people, and he hasn't been invited to any of the roundtables. He hasn't been at any of the meetings. I mean, this guy's a lot of hot air, right? Naughty, naughty Charles. All right, overall in the crypto market, we got some of these cryptos getting close to their all-time highs. Bitcoin only 2% away from their all-time high. BNB only 16% away from their all-time. Now, ETH a laggard at 44%. Sol laggard at 46%. Why am I sharing that? Because the volume is starting to move. 38% up in the last 24 hours to $138. Look at the movement on ETH up on the screen. That's the that's the 7-day chart, everyone. Look at this. Some big swings here. A $340 swing for ETH. Now, mind you, when you zoom out, though, to ETH, you can see it's touched 4,000 a couple times. We'll wait for that one to load. It's touched 4,000 a couple times, and each time it's touched 4,000, players have been selling it off. Now, in terms of XRP, well, that's kind of a story, right? We're watching the volume on that move up 16% to 3 billion. Let's go to that E-chart real quick. This is what I was talking about. Moving to 4,000, right, in December, selling all the way off down to 1,500. You think XRP holders are worried about manipulation. ETH holders are really getting thrown, and ETH has been a big laggard. But look at the volume for ETH. Up 112%. This is a big move here in the last 24 hours with ETH. So is ETH leading the charge for the alt? Swinging on over to XRP, where I said volume is at 3 billion, which is very healthy. We're seeing some life being breathed into XRP. It's having a little bit of trouble keeping north of that 230 mark. Let's go to those candlesticks and see specifically what's been happening here. You can tell, though, it's wanting to move, right? When we zoom out a little bit here, you can see after that little Trump, Elon little spat that we had a few days ago on June 5th, XRP has been trying, but you can see where is it facing its resistance. 232, 233 action right there, right? 233 on this candlestick, 232 on this one right here, but that's okay. This is more action than we've seen as of late. And again, when I zoom out, you notice this big jump of volume since the 8th of June? Yeah, you're starting to see more action favoring XRP. Zooming out a little bit, look, we still got ways to go to where we were in May, but overall, it's looking healthier. Zooming out a little bit further, and you can see what? Look, $2 right now is like the new 50 cents for XRP, right? For a long time, XRP had plenty of support at that 50-cent range. Now it appears that XRP is getting that support at $2. So is $2 the new permanent floor of XRP? I want to hear from you. Or do you think we got more to go? I mean, I think we got more to go, but I sure think that floor is stable at $2. Yeah, you'll get your eventual breakthrough, but guess what, everyone? It seems to keep rebounding, and as of late, we've seen more moves to the upside, but we know the XRP fan base really starts roaring when we get north of 250, so let's keep that rally action going, because remember, United States-China tariff talks happening today. We've got stablecoin bill along with the Clarity Act going on. CPI data tomorrow. Ooh, it's a busy week. I'm glad you're here joining the show. We're definitely starting to see more things thaw in the old crypto landscape. H-bar's looking a little bit healthier, right? A little bit deeper up on the screen. ETH, as I shared with you earlier, the meme is kind of clawing their way on back. So you are starting to see things move. But we need more than this because you're definitely starting to see the retail support wane a little bit. Now, what can help retail support? Look, we get these two crypto bills in the House and in the Senate going. That could definitely help us out. But as I shared with you earlier, we got some uncertainty in there, which would give the SEC more power. And yeah, that's not what we want right now. I mean, the thing that scares me about that is the change would eliminate exemptions for previously issued tokens. That's not what we want. We don't want more of this foggy cloudiness in crypto regs. We want clarity. That's why they called it the Clarity Act. So, does this mean this bill is going to stop? Well, we're going to find out today because they're going to be debating it. We got a little subcommittee action. I'm going to bring that update when it happens to you. So, make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out because choo-choo what? Well, you know the deal. Choo-choo bitch, girlfriend.